We're a big hope in a country that is embattled. Three types of good people: fighters, those who help the fighters, those who do nothing. Helping the fighters is just as good as fighting. So please help the country by donating to PragerU, PragerU.com, 833-PragerU. We have a Prager Force member, one a day generally in the fundraising months. I have not generally met these people, and everyone has profoundly impressed me for their maturity, which is a word that is never used any longer. Be mature is, it's not only not an admonition, it would be some young person would not know what the adult was even talking about. So anyway, I want to just reemphasize, Cody Hugg, as I have learned, is 21, lives on his own, self-employed, making a living, has no student debt. Sounds like an adult, doesn't he? And not burdened with the student debt, which the Democrats would like to burden the rest of the country with, so as to penalize the people who are responsible and paid off their student debt. Why anybody should go into debt to learn that men give birth is one of the great riddles of American and world history. What were you raised both religiously and politically?
Well, I was in a very mixed family. So I'll start politically because that's the easiest. It was a straight line down. My mother's side, very conservative. They wouldn't call themselves Republicans, but they would be more kind of centrist, right there on the right, but they're more centrist. And my father's side, my father himself is a Republican, but his family, mostly his sisters, they are very much Democrat. They're very, very liberal. So you can imagine Thanksgiving table is going to be already interesting. But religiously, it's even more messy. So on my dad's side, we have mostly people from the LDS faith, the Latter-day Saints or Mormons. He is a Wesleyan Christian himself. My mother, she kind of is a Christian, but not really. And so I was kind of raised in this questioning environment. When I grew up, when I got into high school, actually when I graduated and then started going into the workforce, I decided to do a DNA test just for fun, Ancestry.com and 23andMe a little bit later on. And I found out that I am half Jewish. I never knew this.
Half?
And my parents,
literally half?
Literally half. Well, actually, it's 48%,
okay,
but I rounded up.
All right,
too.
half. Yeah, I agree. Go on.
So I never knew that I was Jewish, and my parents actually never knew that either one of them was Jewish, and I didn't know if it was maternal or paternal. So I bought DNA tests for both my father and my mother, and my mother is the one that came back Jewish, and she didn't know that she is fully Jewish. She didn't know. She had no idea. And so...
how was she raised?
She was raised in a non-religious environment.
Right. What was her maiden name?
Her maiden name was... So her maiden name was Danielle Suzanne.
It was what?
Danielle Suzanne. Oh, Danielle Suzanne Hugg. Danielle Suzanne Hugg. So
right, but no, Hugg is her married name.
No, that's her actual name.
Wait, so you have the last name of your mother?
I do, yes.
Okay, I'm sure that's a story unto itself.
Like I said, it's a very, very unique family setting.
So it would appear. And this is always fascinating. So a couple of more questions. I could talk to you for hours, obviously. And first, my favorite question of all, because believe it or not, I don't believe I have ever gotten the same answer twice. What is your favorite PragerU video?
My favorite one, and this is the one that really solidified my conservative ideas and what it really means to be a conservative. and that is a video known as "I Am the Lord Your God" that you did.
Oh, that I
and
did.
About,
so the first of the 10 Commandments. Wow.
yes.
Yeah, that's a new
the
answer. See, there you go. The record is being upheld. And why did that strike you?
Well, it was because you mentioned how it is talking about freedom. Obviously, the whole video is talking about, of course, that God is our God, that He took us out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt, and to be our Lord. And He took us out of slavery, as you talked about in the video, and because God is very anti-slavery, as you mentioned, and He is very much for freedom. And the conservative ideals, especially in the United States, the conservative ideals are all about freedom, individual freedom, while the opposite side is the exact difference. And so that really solidified where I am politically.
Very touched. I have not asked this of a Prager Force member, oddly enough, because it would seem to be a relevant question. Are you worried about America?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very worried. We're heading down a path of self-destruction right now. We are at a very big battle. Now, although I am worried, because of the Judaism that I've accepted, ever since I found out I was Jewish, I've converted, or not necessarily converted because I'm born through my mother, but I reintroduced myself into Judaism. I have a newfound optimism of what we call in Judaism tikkun olam, to repair the world. And I do believe that Prager Force, and entities like it have the ability, the power to change the country. And
what do you think, folks? What do you think?